Okay, are we good to go on virtual? It looks like it. Perfect. It is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting of the library board on Wednesday, December 17th into order. Again, this is a hybrid meeting being held in person at Village Hall and online via Zoom. The link to the Zoom meeting is at the top of the agenda. We do have a quorum, and the agenda was properly posted. So with that, this is the public's opportunity to speak. I am not seeing anyone either in person or online. So moving on, the next item is to discuss and consider the minutes from the November 19th Library Board meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Cindy, seconded by Megan. All those in favor? Or actually first, any further discussion? No. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, sorry, Ally, sorry about that. Opposed and abstentions? None. Perfect. Okay, moving on to new business. So in the last library board meeting, we discussed the mailer. So this is the opportunity for us to kind of check in and see where we are. So I'm going to turn it over to Monica for an update. Or
There's not too terribly much of an update until we finalize our programs. So that's supposed to be part of a lot of our conversation. So everything's kind of in place. It's just as soon as we have programs finalized, we'll be ready to go and get those sent out. I have the samples from previous years that were just kind of a cut and paste. So utilizing those.
great.
Did we decide what week they're going out?
I don't think we did. Go back to the minutes to confirm.
Like January 15th-ish?
Yeah, I feel like it was mid-January.
Yep.
But we should check the minutes. 'Cause
We were touching base. We knew for sure we didn't want to send it at the same time that Cameron was sending his for the village because that was just too tight of a window. So we kind of said that we were waiting until this meeting to then determine.
Yeah, if it doesn't conflict with anything else being sent by the village, I would say that January 15th-ish would be a good target, because then it is in people's mailboxes before the community read. And kind of before like the big kickoff to what will be spring, hopefully.
The way the winter's going right now, we'll see. Okay, perfect. So then we can touch base with village staff to confirm process and timeline and everything, but that will be kind of our goal then, is January 15th-ish is when it gets sent out.
To verify date-wise, we're going January through May is what we are trying to mail and present.
Yeah, usually what we had been doing is there's like been a little lighter programming the first half of January, and that gives you enough time to set the schedule for basically February through May. And May tends to also be a little bit lighter because we've found that it's been a little chaotic with all of the
End of school
school
year
things
as well. So light May.
So lightish January, lightish May, lightish August. And those 3 months then are used to plan like the next like trimester. So we would want the program list that goes in this mailer for probably February 1st through May.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
Great. Any other discussion?
And then at the previous meeting, I think we had like the laundry list of like
Yes.
things for, okay. That would go in, like else in the mailer. Yeah, okay. No, I think that's good.
Great. So moving on, the next item we have is discuss and consider the MOU with McFarland for the first part of 2026.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the MOU with McFarland for the spring programming.
Second.
Motion by Cindy, seconded by Megan. Any further discussion, any additional discussion?
I was going to ask Monica, has the attendance at that been fairly steady?
Story time is super low, and that's the first Friday of the month. This past month, we maybe had 12 people. Zoom beanies are huge. We're talking like 40 to 50 people easily. So it is very much of value. I have had community members seek out and actually ask me very direct, are we going to continue doing this even though you're doing your story times and other program options? I said at this juncture, this is for sure continued throughout this calendar year. They are providing a service that at this point I cannot duplicate in regards to Zoom Beanie. As long as there is continued attendance and desire, there shouldn't be a disruption to that. So that has been my answer. There have been questions about it though. It's really nice because Liz and Heather bring books. So it does facilitate checkout opportunities as well. And they have done a great job in personalizing and knowing what children are interested in. So they do a great job. At this point, I don't see a reason to halt it.
And the Zoom Beanies the third week. So that would be this Friday is the next one.
Sorry, one more question. So is that their preference to do a story time the first of the month and Zoom Beanie separately, as opposed to, because clearly it sounds like Zoom Beanie is more popular, but that takes a lot more for them to offer. They probably can't necessarily do it twice a month.
So they offer, this is per their suggestion.
Okay.
So this is what they have desired and offered to us. One story time, one Zoom Beanie. When they offer Zoom Beanie at ED-Lock Public Library, you actually have to register for it. And it is an even tighter limited quantity for that. It is completely packed when they host it there. So it is a highly sought after program. So the fact that we are offering it without putting restrictions on it with that registration, so that it is so flexible, it allows those families that even in McFarland can't always attend, they will even come here. They love it so well. So it does pull in a lot of Cottage Grove residents, daycare providers come, they bring their children to it. It is very, very well received. And like I said, they ask for it. And people will inquire. So yeah, so Zoom Beanie is definitely the better of the two.
And that makes sense. I guess my question was then too, like, as we look ahead, maybe we discuss with them, and it might be a preference, like, I would think that we want to ask them, like, would you be willing to do Zoom Beanie twice in our community starting in the fall? And I don't know what their staffing availability is or that kind of thing, but that to me says like, well, this is really popular, and you know, I don't know what the parameters were when we first started doing it with them, so that just might be something to consider when we talk about the MOU for fall 26 or something, just to, because I guess I didn't realize the discrepancy in the attendance numbers was quite that big. Which 12 kids is still great. I mean, that's not like, it's not a problem, but clearly Zoom Beanie is where it's at.
Allie, were you trying to add something?
No, I wasn't. Sorry about that.
Way to call her out.
I want to make sure she's heard, so sorry about that, but just want to be sure. Okay, so we have the motion. I'm just double checking any more discussion on it before we move forward to the vote. No? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. So with that, then we shift on to the programming report. So back to you, Monica.
Programming have been going great. Communication is improving with Taylor Perry specifically in regards to the no 4K school days. There has been a flyer that's already been shared with the school district for all of them for the rest of the calendar year in an effort to try and drum up a little bit more attention for that. But those that have been attending have been great. All of that set. Can I tell you how excited Downdrins is for the New Year's Eve again? Like, they are so excited about it. Abby has asked me no less than 5 times if we're doing the resolution wall again, because she is so thrilled with it. So I know that they're excited about it. We're expecting a very large turnout, equally as much. I did make sure that we have 0 noisemakers this go around. And we will also have the crafts that are there. We do have no school events planned for the rest of December. Everything has been shared with the school district, should be in. If you all could double check your newsletters. I did receive a confirmation that they received my stuff, so we'll see how that works. The upcoming December 22nd is the Hot Cocoa in Stories. I have Megan is coming to be a reader, and I need more readers. Otherwise, it's going to be Megan and I reading. So if we could encourage some community leaders, if they would be interested, if you know anyone, if you want to give me their contact, I'm great at not taking no as an answer. Those that I've inquired at MSB just because I'm there. So Kelly, if you're interested. But so most of them that I've asked at MSB are actually unfortunately out of town. Again, it's tight to the holidays. So if you could inquire, that would be fabulous. Otherwise, I'll pull some strings. But just my last little plant for that. Already have the January calendar together. Everything's pretty much same old, same old. We did have a huge turnout for our tween scene this past month. We had 12 people in attendance. We would have had 15, but some friends got sick on their way out the door. So I'm really glad they didn't come. But I was really pumped about having the 12, so lots of fun. And it was like 6th grade. We actually ended up having ages from 9 all the way to 15. And then what's been really fun with it is that naturally it has become a tween and adult kind of opportunity. So a lot of the adults are even staying and participating too. So it's just kind of lovely, for lack of a better term. And everything squared away, I believe, for the all-community read. Kelly has graciously helped me to set up some books here in Village Hall on the table with the flyer there. We have them available in Parks and Rec lobby, in the lobby to MSB, and we have them at the back entrance for Parks and Rec space. So they'll be available as long as business hours for both of the buildings and for all library program options. I think there's been quite a few really good comments that I've had. A few people have reached out to me that are like, hey, can you bring me a book? So I do have some extra books here as well for this evening. And just really good feedback for that. The only hiccup with the event, space is perfectly fine. Everything's done. All of the books got stamped. The only thing is that we do not officially have a moderator or an MC for the event. I haven't received any sort of communication back. Megan, do you have a personal communication connection with Jessie?
Sorry, I reached out to her on Instagram, but she didn't actually respond to me on there. Like, I think that was maybe just a nudge that she saw and then communicated with you. I can certainly try again, or we can brainstorm other literary people that might be good conversation partners, moderators, whatever we're going to call it. I mean, I think if push comes to shove, someone like Laura Bird or Maggie Ginsberg would, if they're available, be happy to do it again and would be able to kind of, jump in and do it last minute.
Or both of them. They're so lovely. And
Are they- I
like
mean-
that would just be
I'm
Right.
not opposed to
Or,
that.
yeah, so I don't know, like, you're right, if the author herself does not have a specific recommendation and she hasn't gotten back to
At
you,
this point, I
then-
haven't had one, so I would
Right.
like to move forward in
Yeah.
trying to get one. I unfortunately have not attended in person for the past 2 events, so I'm not exactly sure on the desired direction and what the expectation is that you are wanting from them. So you all have spoken so fondly as to the occurrence and just the atmosphere for the previous years that I don't want to do anything that would derail that. So if you could provide some assistance for that, I think that would be great. Hugely.
I'll talk to you more about it after.
Okay.
I have a couple other ideas.
The last big thing with programming, we have reached out to CI. The Sensory Santa went beautifully. The feedback from the families that attended was wonderful. Every single family commented, "We hope you do this again. We were so glad you did this." So I think that that's something, and Lake Ridge Bank was fantastic. The setup that they had was stunning. So I think that the desire is to for sure continue that. It was very, very well received by those families. There was even a family that had a recently new diagnosis for autism. And you could just see the relief on the grown-up's face when they walked in. And the fact that they felt so comfortable to share that with me. They didn't have to by any means. It's not anything that requires an explanation as to why you're wanting to attend. So just major props, beautifully done in the creation of this and the sustaining of the program. But CI is wanting to continue with their monthly story time. They had done this in the past, just in light of changeovers, we weren't able to kind of get that on the schedule, so that we are working on that. We were talking about doing it at an off-site location. I have not heard back from Dolphin Swim. So that's my last kind of hanging piece there. We're wanting to get it set up to be the third Wednesday of every month. So if I do not hear from them within the next few weeks, I'm just gonna go ahead and call it and keep it at Parks and Rec. So if anyone has a nice little nudge there, that would be great.
I think there's a few of us that can definitely get connected with Dolphin, so we will follow up on that.
Okay. I think that's mostly everything programming wise. Adult working on that. There's been some community conversations. People are like, what about this? What about this? And I did meet with Paula Severson with Cottage Grove Historical Society. And so moving forward, an attempt for more adult programs that'll kind of overlap in a crossover. It's a nice way to kind of allow both organizations' budgets to stretch, as well as for those personal interest in kind of helping to grow that adult programming component. So that's kind of exciting. And they have amazing resources in the physical building at Flynn Hall. So some of their archival stuff was fantastic. I had to like sit on my hands to keep from touching everything. And so that'll be the intentions moving forward. So working on growing that adult programming. It is very slow. But only mostly because right now they are my lowest attendance. So sadly, not as much attention is being devoted to it just as a result of that. So, any other questions on programming? Did I leave things out?
I think based on our conversations, just to clarify, one of the things that you're exploring is leveraging the Historical Society here as a way to get connected with Badger Talks, because you kind of alluded to it, but not saying it explicitly. So by having both organizations, we can then bring to the community even more Badger Talks or some of the other state-based programs. So the fact that we're having this connection will actually benefit the community even more by offering these various experts and hit some of the key topics and provide a lot more variety in programming moving forward. So for me personally, that's why I'm kind of excited for this partnership, because of what it means for the community.
Oh, heavens, yeah. I think it's really exciting. And just that it allows more daytime opportunities for grown-ups as well as evening opportunities. So again, just that greater reach.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so very excited about that. The last thing that we were talking programming wise is now when I want to talk about Earth Day. Okay, so Earth Day is huge. And in a conversation that JP and I had, Earth Day is scheduled for Wednesday, April 22nd for this year. It's a Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. We also talked, this could go two ways. You can take a conservation environmental approach to Earth Day with your activity programming. You could also take more of like a green living, sustainability, like as more of a at-home approach to it. I am not as knowledgeable and as skilled with more of a naturalist standpoint. That is not my strong suit. That being said, that is also heavily provided through other libraries and other programming, Aldo Leopold, Lucier Farms, like all of these different things. So if we go that route, we are providing a duplication of events and programming. I don't like that. There are other options available. So if we do provide more of like a green living fair approach with more sustainability and how you can make this part of your day in and day out lifestyle, that is my personal preference because we are not providing a duplication of services. This is not something that is done everywhere. The actually only other green living fair within like the Dane County area is done in February with PBS, with a bunch of different other things, and it actually costs money to attend, and it is not cheap. So we would be providing a free green living fair. We then talked about an option that if we go that route, do we want to do a program a day for the week? That's kind of exhausting, or do we want to literally make it a green living fair, do a Saturday, 11 to 2 type thing, have some guest speakers, have a presentation, utilize a lot of the resources that we have here. We have the flower farm in Cottage Grove. We have Warm Belly. They do hydroponic strawberries. We have the Richter farm. They have their peppers that they actually like grow, create, everything. So we can make this so that it is a local thing as well, coordinate with Willie Co-op and Willie Street Co-op and just a lot of different things to kind of start this. Have something, I do have a bit of a kind of a event plan. I will happily email to you all. Not that I'm excited about this in the least bit. And I may have already come up with a craft for the kids to make seed balls. And I was telling one of my grown-up friends, and she goes, "Can I hang with the kids and make seed balls?" I said, yes, you may. So that is my personal preference, but happy to do as you all see fit.
That sounds great.
I love it. Sorry. Yeah. You go first.
But
Mel.
a Saturday, like the
Yes.
Saturday, when did you say Earth Day was?
So it's the 22nd. So we could do two options. We can do the Saturday after, we can do the Saturday before.
So there
That
is-
would be the
24th
25th.
isn't no school day, and I know sometimes
Oh.
people combine, like, and travel, like,
So
if
do
it's
you
a
like the
3-day weekend.
18th?
So I wonder if the 18th would be better.
When is Easter and spring break? Those are earlier in
Easter
April,
is
right?
earlier.
Okay.
Easter's the 5th.
Just checking. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was earlier.
Yep, nope, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the 3-day weekend then.
So we're good with the 18th. Because
my
I'm gonna
birthday.
reach out, happy birthday.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna reach out and start to try and book some of these speakers, but I really wanted to get a date down because I really, really want this event on our mailers.
Yeah.
So we're good with this?
And then the Friends will be a sponsor partner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of like a local like green living, because like community, like
I-
everyone lives here and like that's.
I love what we have done the last several years. I love the idea of presenting a different take on it and information that again, like Tracy had such a strong naturalist background and had so many connections, and
She
that's
literally was a naturalist.
correct.
Like,
I mean,
certified.
using a naturalist background is like the loosest term there you could get, but sustainability, the environmental working group, which sunscreen should I be putting on my kids? Like I have like 93 ideas that have just come that are, again, something different than let's play in the school forest, which is great, but like let's do something different. So I think trying to figure out how to do the green living fair kind of stuff and have as many kind of active things for the kids to do too is going to be important. I'm also going to say for whatever we do for Earth Day, we need an indoor location as an option.
So
I don't know if
was
the whole-
hoping it was
yeah,
a bit of a
just-
hybrid option. Just off the top of my head, I was thinking of the Parks and Rec space because that does give us like the entire indoor space. But then we have the entire green space outside, which could be really cool for some of those like practical areas. But that's my ignorant. I don't know when or if any construction's taking place in the green space for that April
March,
18th.
So I don't think we should plan
Okay,
that.
so we're not doing that. So that was my question for location.
The first thing that popped into my head was CGS gym. And then you go
Oh.
out back and you can still do school forest because you have
Perfect.
everything in the gym there. You can still have the trash lab come, you can do all your stuff.
Which
And then
I love
People
too.
can go, we have those maps that are so nice about the school
Perfect.
forest. So you can still hand out that kind of stuff and people can still walk.
And it's really centrally located. It's
yeah.
on a
And
main.
there's enough parking.
Great parking.
Right, there's parking, people see it as they drive by, we can
Put the
publicize it
E signs out
easily.
there, like right there, yeah.
Okay, I love it. Sold.
And people are used to it being there too,
Again, I'm going to defer to you guys.
yeah.
Okay, I have my
Okay.
birthday plans, so let's go.
Yes. That was my big thing there. Talked about the CI.
Do we want to double check other community events that are happening either the 18th or the 25th, just so that we're not like, there's not like a Parkinson's run, rugby?
Yeah, the town
All
planner
of the
just arrived in my mailbox yesterday, and then I don't remember, but it should be up online already. We can look and make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Could we loosely send some emails and talk about candlelight night hike? I just need a clarification on that point.
Allie just
Ally?
ducks down. She's like, I didn't hear that. I think Allie and I just kind of volunteered to like make it a community night hike.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a library specific program unless we want it to be. Or if we wanted to, like, we were just gonna make
I
it
just
more
thought
of
we were
like.
piggybacking on your program.
Oh, okay,
I
then
just
yeah.
need to know a date. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not
Oh,
doing it.
the-
I just need to, I'm piggybacking on it.
the hike is the 14th, right?
Yeah,
February 14th, Saturday. Friday night is the CGSFO family night, probably a dance. And then
oh, that's right.
Sunday was maybe gonna be
Like
a story time or something.
yeah.
So you want my Sunday story time?
So we did do it last year for the night hike. We did, we did like a nighttime story time there. It was really hard to hear. It was cold, windy, and like you couldn't really see it very well. And like I think
Yeah, I just remember the year that you had like the story walk set up through the forest, and it was a great idea, but you couldn't see the pages very well because it's
yeah.
dark, even with the light night. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, Allie and I are gonna we'll do the hike. But I think a story time Sunday would like, and we can all promote it together. And yeah. Does that Sunday work for Valentine's-ish?
Oh, you're cute. We've been married for a long time, it's fine. Everybody has, right? It's like, are you talking about that? Like,
Right, like you have some romantic getaway. You can't
yeah, I was
possibly
like,
work that
who
weekend.
does that?
With 3 children.
Aren't we all married? Like,
Yes.
people do that?
Yeah, I guess Allie and I are gonna set up candles.
That's how you're spending your Valentine's Day.
It's great.
It didn't even occur to me that like, yeah, our husbands probably also have things planned for like taking us out or something.
Sorry, I want to loop back to Earth Day because I pulled up the town planner online.
Oh, good, that's what I was looking at.
And the only things that are on it are Bloody Mary Festival at Dundrums and the Midwest Horse Fair at the Lion Energy Center. On Saturday, the April 18th is the date. I also want to point out that on this calendar, they have on Sunday is the start of National Library Week. So that's Sunday, the April 19th. Just an FYI.
I do have proclamation and resolutions in March, so, in my calendar for Library Week, so we'll have it. But does that mean, like, we should potentially move it to during that week? and like double up? Or does it not matter?
I could care less.
I mean, we can just like ask around and be like, and make sure that the 18th is the best. And if it's not, we'll just move it to the 25th.
I'm pulling up the 25th right now. There's nothing on the calendar for the 25th.
Other than it's no schools.
Yeah, long
Yeah.
weekend.
It's no schools for Madison and MG.
Are people as likely to travel because we just had spring break too? Is that really a big concern, do we think? Because plus, I always think a week later in April, you might have nicer weather.
But will you do a no school something that day?
I usually try to do no school things.
Then we should probably stick with the 18th.
I personally like the 18th,
Yeah,
please.
because otherwise the two back to back are
Yeah.
a lot.
It's a lot. Stick with the 18th. I think
Okay.
it's fine.
And that lets us get a jump start on the whole, like, Earth Day kind of celebration, so it allows us to maybe, hopefully, get that niche prior to. Okay, so I think I'm done.
Do we want to give more feedback for spring programming or like how that calendar's being fleshed out?
Yeah,
Like,
what
we
do you
want to
want?
work on that part, so we have it for the mailer.
Yep, that's one of the things I was going to bring up. So you beat me to it, Cindy.
Sorry. I didn't know if we were moving on or not.
Okay.
Nope. So it's all part of kind of programming in there. So let's talk about the programming for that spring mailer and the spring term. I'll
Yep.
just call it. So Monica, I know you had a kind of game plan, like a calendar already built out. Probably cannot talk right now. Is it in the OneDrive? Because then I could just pull it up on Zoom or where.
No. It lives in my head right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
So why don't you talk us through what you have? Game
So
plan.
it's, everything is the same. We've created like a really nice like system, a nice flow. So we do weekly story times. It's Thursday mornings, unless it's a holiday, we are there, 9:30. Fridays, first Friday, third Friday, McFarland Librarians, Storytime, Zumbini. We have Distillery, so we do have our adult programming, usually that fourth Wednesday. We did move it to Wednesdays. We've had a way better turnout with that. Our last month, I believe we had 10 people there, 9, 10 people. And then all the no 4K school days are booked. So we're just theming that stories and STEAM. We just play off of that. So that's a set thing. I have all of those dates. There's a separate flyer already created for that. The first Monday of every month is Cookbook Club at 7 o'clock, an adult program going really well, really good interest. I've been getting great recipes for that, by the way. And then the second Monday of the month at 7 o'clock is the Tween Scene. Again, that's continuing to grow, so continuing for that programming. And then no school days for long holidays, that kind of a thing, trying to get at least 1 or 2. For the no school days, it is way better support to have it a 10 to noon open house approach. That has seemed to be much better received, just from the community in general. So those are just like a set plug and chug type thing. And then a weekend event as a kind of a special thing. So February will be the hike. And then we look at March. March is a kind of just tough month in general. So I don't know, knowing that we're going to do the Earth Day in April, that would be great. May, so almost like that bigger one every other month. Again, we will be adding a set adult, like evening kind of program, one in conjunction with the Historical Society, so that'll be like an every other month thing. And then I want to bring back the Lunch and Learns, and I was gonna do those on the opposite month. So this way there's like an extra adult program. But again, it's just, I just need people to be like, yes, we're for real doing this. So that's my only hiccup there. I would appreciate some feedback because adult programming is so hit or miss. Everybody has schedules. It just is. If someone could just be like, I like this day and I like this time. I did finally get a better contact for Drumlin Reserve, so I'm hoping to hear back from them because that is a space that I think would be absolutely phenomenal for adult programming, especially for a daytime option as well as an evening option. So that is my hope there. And then I have apparently some really quirky adult friends that want to do all of the cheesiest adult craft nights. So I'm just going to do one a month, and I'm just going to pick crafts that I like because at least I'll be there.
We
I'm
had
being
very good
facetious with
attendance
that.
for that. We had a Badger Talk, a couple of them, at the Drumlin residence, and you get a lot of the residents that live over there that normally wouldn't maybe come out. And so it was and they have a very nice venue, and April is great, like
It's
a great
stunning.
hostess there. And so like I'd highly recommend having those there. I really like the idea of like the extra adult programs, even if a lot of people don't come. If you do have like Badger Talks and they're here, we can record, and they'll let us record them. We can put them on our YouTube channel
Yeah.
too. And that way people can go back and look at it. Badger Talks too, and the Historical Society, Wisconsin Historical Society talks, promote themselves
Yes.
too. So then we do get people that drive in from all over and come to those too. So
And
those
that's the
have been
joy in
pretty
the
good.
collaboration with the Historical Society, because we as an organization are only allowed 2 free ones.
Yes.
But if we collab,
Yeah.
we then are doubling those programs. So that's what JP was alluding to earlier. So that's the desired hope with
Yes.
that. So yeah. And again, so that we're not providing duplication of programming within our community. First and foremost, making sure that we're broadening that
Yeah.
reach. So that's gonna happen. What, was there a night? Was there a day? Like, if you guys could give me a time, because at this point, everyone's like, oh yeah, that'll be great. And I'll talk to some people and it'll be fine. And then others not. So I don't want to be the bad guy to make a choice. Sorry, but I do like the consistency. I'm finding that it's really, really helping for this kind of plug and programming. People know, like, oh, it's Thursday. This is what we do on
I would
Thursdays.
say like Tuesday or Thursday at 6:30.
6:30. We like 6:30. Sold.
I like 6:30 because you can still eat dinner and then you can still get somewhere.
Done.
Versus 6. Yes. Just gonna look at the tracker to see when we had it before.
And for some reason, I kind of like Tuesday more. I
do
feel like
too,
there's
actually.
more things on Thursday night typically.
Great.
Let's do Tuesday at
Do
6:30.
Tuesday at 6:30.
Tuesdays at 6:30. Done. I'm looking the
We
third
did
or the fourth.
what the dugout canoes one.
Yes.
And we had that at Drumlin Residences at 6.
Perfect.
Still like great turnout.
Yep.
I think like if we want a little bit younger crowd, 6:30 is like easier to, if you're distributing children places, but. Are you working with April at Drumlin Residence?
Yes.
And maybe she would have, say, 6 or 6:30. to
That's what
ask her.
I'm
Right.
hoping. I did have an idea that maybe even, I don't know what, I know that they do, chamber meetings, so during like the lunch hour. I thought it would be really cool if we actually use the technology there in Drumlin to actually do the lunch and learn on that screen, so that even their residents that might not be able to do it at home could come and like participate, and just kind of like my setting up there and kind of utilizing that space is what I would love to do for that lunch and learn. And if anyone's brown bagging it or anything kind of a thing, that could be kind of fun too.
One concern is, and this is just, we gotta think through this, is how do we make sure that gets recorded? Because that's one of the things about the lunch and learns is that we do stream them
Right.
and record them, and then turns into a catalog that we can refer to down the line.
My hopes were if it's all going through my computer, it should be recorded on my computer. I'm just allowing it to like be shown on a larger screen for them to be able to witness.
Oh, like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, like
Could you
it's
do
literally
that?
happening.
The
It would be
presenter.
happening. The
Yes.
presenter's not
Yes.
there, none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's happening on Monica's
It's on my
laptop.
computer. Yeah, it's
But
just
she's
this.
also just has her laptop hooked up to the 9, TV screens. We're so on the techie stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, there might be some kind of technical issue with doing that, but to me, I would think, yeah, like whatever's on your computer screen could also be up there so people could be in the room watching it and it's being recorded on your laptop.
So that just means that the presenters or whoever, the guest speakers or whoever's there, is going to be joining virtually, not in person.
That's what
So-
the lunch and learn, yeah, lunch and learn is still
Yeah.
virtual.
Exactly. It's still all happening virtually, and I can still jump on it from my house at lunch, or somebody in Verona
Just-
can get
yeah,
like.
just an idea for that community. We're a public library. This is at the root of everything. How do we get people together for this community component? We also factor in the demographic for Drumlin Reserves in general. I am not implying that they are not techie. Chances are there are a lot of them that are more techie than I am, but it's just that community component. How nice would it be to brown bag your little lunch? Go and sit and have lunch. You're having lunch anyhow. Why not sit with a friend? Kind of a thing. So that would be just another way to add that component to one of our programs. Not required to be in attendance, but just an option.
So are you thinking February, March, April, May? And then
Yes.
it's like history talk, Badger talk, lunch and learn, and then like,
Kind of like everything.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll for sure have something.
Yeah, that makes me happy. I like those.
And then tossing in an adult craft, because I've had a lot of grown-ups that are sending me craft ideas. Hey, Monica, have you heard of this? I have. Are you interested in it? Maybe. Great.
Just like kind of looking through the last couple of years too, rare disease story time in
Yes.
February has been kind of
Awesome.
consistent. I would like to see that kind of continue on. We talked with the Glen Grove leadership. Was that this week?
Yes.
Monday, 2 days ago. And so bringing back the red bus.
Yes.
I don't know if we can get that on the calendar too.
Reached out to, hoping to hear
Okay.
back.
The police station, the teddy bear sleepover in May.
Totally on the calendar.
Okay. And then we've done the Lego competition at Grace Coffee. I know David is big into Legos. And that has always been like a pretty big hit. And so I don't know if that's feasible. We've done it during spring break.
I don't remember the
I'm always
exact
gone,
date.
but like, I think it was a spring break activity.
Why do we have to host it there instead of at MSB? I said it because I already have all the supplies at MSB.
I mean, like, that was just what we have.
That
the
was
last
just where
couple
it
of
had been
years is,
done in the
like,
past,
Okay.
right?
We bounced all over the community, and like,
Yeah.
if we wanna, if the
Oh,
goal
Lego
is to
competitions,
like.
like it comes, yeah, there will be spring break programming.
Okay, I was just saying, like, the
to
Lego
hit, like,
competition,
those no
people
school
really,
days.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, got into that. But and yeah, it does not have to be there. It can be, like, if we're standardizing programming at MSB, then that's fine. But the Lego
attendance
competition
is way
was.
better, and kids know how to act with the expectation in a space in which they are regularly at.
Okay. But Lego competition was, yes. And
Okay.
yeah, and people were recreating it at home and stuff too. So I think that that's a good one to bring back. But what, do you think that there's any gaps that you would want to fill? Are there things that we can help brainstorm for? Or it's just a matter of like,
Adult, it's
knocking
really
out the
just
logistics.
scheduling. That is the only thing that I'm not happy with. I'm happy that we're growing it, but I'm not happy that we're providing enough. I don't feel as if we've provided enough. I love where we are for toddler preschool. I love where we are for elementary days.
no, I feel
I
like
am
you're knocking it out of the
thrilled
park with all of
tween.
that.
So I feel I'm actually finally to the point where I'm like, yes, I love this calendar. And so that is the most joyful bit. That adult opportunity is what I want to make the focus moving forward. So that's my goal. So hopefully in June, I can tell you guys, we did it. That's exactly what I want to present.
And I think if this is going in a mailer and we're bringing back the cards and all of those types of things, getting it out really early is just only going to help adults plan because they're the calendar owners. They're going to be able to slot things into their calendars if they have it well in advance. Versus kids, like you're always like, what are we going to do today? And then you can just go. Adults, that's a little bit harder to get them to put it on their calendar, and hopefully the mailer helps a lot.
So I know we've talked about, I mean, when you say adult programs, you're talking about like things that are appealing specifically to adults, but I'm thinking about what you said about the tween scene and how you're seeing more adults staying and doing that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like another way to approach maybe the adult audience would to be, and it's more focused just on families, but it would also include, you know, aunts and uncles or grandparents or those kind of things, but like a full family activity kind of thing, or that you could bring your, you know, because I feel like that's the big hindrance for a lot of people, right? They're not going to give up a Wednesday night to come to a talk about cheese because it's the only night their kids don't have something going on, and so they're doing things. So I'm trying to, I mean, I don't have a good brainstormed idea right here, but I'm
trying
wondering
to be
if we can.
particular with the themes that we choose so that it is an option.
Right.
My oldest son is really into architecture, so any Badger talk about that, by golly, he's going to worm his way into it. I did just get an email from Dane County.
So the one
And
that
I-
came,
Oh, Lucier Family Heritage Center, about like the stormwater stuff. But they have other classes that are even like children-based, so those are some of those things that can do double duty. I have no problem with that, and I was even talking with some of the adults when they were talking about craft night, and they really want to bejewel books, and I said that's fine. So we're having one, and one of them goes, well, I don't want to do mine, but can I do my kid's book? I said, sure, only if you bring your kid. And they're like, can we have a grown-up table and a kid table? I said, sure, why not? So
Well, and I'm thinking like, right, that's what I'm thinking too, is and not even like, you know, tailoring the Badger Talk topics to kids necessarily, but like what other family or multiple age thing, you know, like Legos ages, you know, 4 to 99, like what other kind of multi-age, including adults, family opportunities? Because I think a lot of people might be more likely to prioritize something and put it on their calendar if like, oh, there's gonna be like a trivia night that I can take, you know, yeah, maybe I can't take the 3-year-old along, but I can take the 10-year-old and we can have a bunch of fun doing a bunch of games together, or we're gonna have craft projects, like those
day
type
of the week and
things.
time. Because I've done this with like family story times throughout the fall,
Right.
and I did it on Saturdays, and it was a giant dud.
I think Saturdays, for the most
In the
part,
fall.
in the fall, especially Saturdays in the fall, you've still got all kinds of sports stuff. I would almost say something like,
A Saturday in the winter, like a seasonal type thing, is that
Saturday in the
appropriate, or just not
winter, a
Saturday in
Sunday
general?
afternoon, and maybe even like a late Sunday, not late at night, but like 3 o'clock on a Sunday after football season when you're looking for something to do, or yeah, again, like a special one-off, you know, Wednesday night, Monday night. I know Wednesday nights are still pretty, again, there's no perfect answer. I don't know the answer to that, but again,
Yeah.
it just came to me as we're talking about this stuff
Yeah.
based on what you said about the tweens and thinking like, well, you know, what kind of stuff would I and my husband make time to go to during the week? Well, it would certainly be a lot easier and we'd be more likely to go if it's something that we can just bring our kids or bring one of our kids along to, kind of thing. And as long as we're also offering kind of adult only focused, because clearly not everyone wants to bring their children everywhere and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But that might be another avenue to try.
Yeah, hey, I
don't
love
know.
it.
I feel like you have a lot for this trimester, but the senior toddler story times where you do like story time with all the little kids
Yes.
at like
I
Drummond
know.
residence.
I gotta
was
get
a
my foot in there
request.
first.
Yes, and I feel like that's something, like put that on the fall list.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's something that would become very popular.
Yeah, I
And
want to
they've
do
asked for it,
adult
and
only.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to get a conversation and in with them first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's it. We feel good about it?
so I guess one thing I want to make sure we have a little bit more conversation, try and give Monica some direction about is the topics for a Badger Talk, the topics for a historical society, because there are a ton of different options. So one thing that I had written down that we talked about in the past as possibly doing, and I think a Badger Talk could be a good way to do that, is a follow-up to the screen time event that the PTO did. So we can definitely, there's quite a few different experts through that are as part of the Badger Talk that we can leverage a follow-up type of conversation or something along those lines.
I think that's a great idea. I would pick one out of that category and then maybe one I would say more sciencey based. That's just what I want.
Have we had specific topic requests? I also don't want to duplicate things within like the past 2 years. So I
Oh, there's
want to
so
stay.
many of
I
them.
know
think
there
there's-
are. So, but
right.
I want to make sure that like I'm not like selecting.
We should
that,
have a
like-
list of those,
We
right?
did yeah, it's in the tracker, but the banning of the DDT.
Yes.
We've done taverns,
Cheese.
the history of tavern. We did cheese.
Did we do a beer one or something?
That
Or
was
am I
the
thinking?
tavern.
That was the
That's the
tavern
tavern.
one, sorry, yeah.
But they're all so good. Like you really can't go wrong.
I would think if you do one that's kind of, I mean, personally, I really like the idea too of like building off of the,
Yep.
continuing the conversation about screen time stuff and not even, it could be AI focused, it could be, I mean, anything with kind of with technology type that, and then I would pick one that is more kind of social history or social, like.
Well, the
yeah, like
historical
fun.
society, I'll use more history based for those two.
Correct. Yeah. Sorry, not even social history, but like cheese, beer, like.
Oh, just more of
a
like
lighter topic, I
okay.
guess, than something that's really seems like, oh my
Okay.
gosh, this is like a college lecture or something, like, which I know
What's wrong with that?
they are. Oh, I'm just saying again, to be
Yeah.
more accessible to, like the
Diverse,
history of
we're
supper
broadening our
clubs or who knows, I don't know what, like, but again, like a topic that is kind of gonna maybe grab people's attention more so than like something that seems really.
That's one thing I'm lacking on becoming a true Wisconsinite. I've not attended a supper club.
Library board field trip. No.
I mean, again, this is the IT person in me coming through, but tons of conversations and education about AI. as
I
a
was going to
whole.
say, I love that we talked about that. Yeah.
So that I think is always going to be a good topic to bring forward. Something, I mean, I'm starting to look, but I'm sure there's someone about the responsible use of AI, how it has bias, built-in bias, something along those lines. I think would be a really good conversation and allow people to have a more in-depth conversation than some of the news articles, et cetera, that we've seen out there.
Perfect. Okay, that gives me some to, at this point, it's just reserving and saying, here's one, and we can fine tune from there. But just making sure that we have that space on the calendar for it. So I think we're good. Anything we're missing?
No, I think it looks good.
Okay. The plan will be hopefully here within the next week or so to get that to you. So that way you guys can kind of look through, double check, edit, make sure I didn't forget anything.
Great. Went through all that. Programming, anything else we want to bring up? Just double checking. No? Okay, moving on in the agenda. Consider approval of the vouchers, which are in the agenda attached.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Cindy,
Second.
second by Megan. Any discussion with the vouchers? Hearing none, moving on to voting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, from there, committee reports, we have none. Cindy, do you have any village board updates?
Nope.
Nope. All right, so then moving on to the library board president's report. So Cindy kind of alluded to, the one thing I want to bring forward is on Monday, a few of us here had a meeting with Glen Grove to kind of talk about programming. They reached out to us because they would like to restart programming, and we had some of the upper leadership within the company that owns Glen Grove that were there. So we had, I think, a pretty productive conversation to really kind of game plan what we want to do. So one of the things that came out of that is, one, they have a resource fair on January 21st. That's from 5 until 6 that we will be attending, and actually quite a few other village departments will also be in attendance as well. So one of the things that I was going to bring forward to the group is, because we want to make sure we are there on the resource fair, which happens to fall on the same day as our January library board meeting. I'm going to propose pushing that meeting to 6:30 to allow us to have the resource fair, be all packed up, ready to go, and be here and on time with that. So check
You said that's the 21st.
Wednesday, January 21st. Proposal is to shift it to 6:30.
Works for me.
Okay, so hearing no concerns there, we will make that change for the January board meeting. Kind of going back to Golden Grove a little bit, so one of the things that's going to happen is their leadership has confirmed that they are going to be doing a survey, and Monica's already given them 3 or 4 questions to include in the survey at their request to help us gauge what do the residents want. So I think that would be very helpful to kind of tailor some of the opportunities that we have in there, to slot it in and really help serve a village need to support those in that community in there. And like I said, we'll also be at the resource fair as well, so we'll use that opportunity to also solicit feedback in there. Other than that, that is all that I have on my report. So with that, does anyone have any other announcements? Great. So with that,
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
motion by Megan, I think that was a second by Ally.
Second.
Okay. All right, non-debatable, all in favor, we are,
Aye.
or all in favor, opposed,
Yep.
abstention, we are good, so thank you all. Have a great rest of your night.